Right, John, now this is a treat for you.
It literally is, like, as far as the eye can see.
Yeah, big old site.
You could get lost in here, couldn't you?
As good as the day they were made. Best part of 100 years now.
Don't go and ruin it.
Don't worry, but if it goes wrong, it's only half a day sanding you're going to have to do.
Sand it all back again.
Not only is it good for the environment, but also the end product is very pleasing to the eye.
20 years ago, it was as it was, people didn't bother.
Yeah.
Now, we live in a society where people want it cleaned and ready to go.
What's the oldest bath you wait on?
1880.
Oh wow.
Because sometimes you'll find that they look great with the paint on, as soon as you dip them, literally the panels will fall apart.
I think it'd be an absolute crime if you painted something like this, because you just don't get wood like this anymore.
These will definitely make a brilliant addition to somebody's home, won't they?
Just to prove I've still got my copper canopy
It's
in
there.
place.
This one's especially for Tony. So guys, we're here for the final part of our three-part series, and we are at Cawarden Reclamation Yard to see the process of all the materials turning up at the yard, being processed and then through to showroom condition. I'm here with Richard and he is going to show us through the various processes on the site.
Yeah, nice to meet you and welcome to Cawarden.
It's great to be here. We've had a quick look around already.
Yeah,
It looks like an amazing place.
It's 35 years we've been doing this job, so and we're still learning. Every day we're still learning.
Every day's a school day.
But yeah, this is the pleasurable bit. This is where we actually get to eventually get some money back.
Not an easy thing, is it?
No, it's but it's very pleasurable. You know, I always say that this business, you've got to have a real passion for it.
Definitely.
You know, you've really got to be interested in it, because you've got to have a feel for the materials, really.
I mean, it's a fascinating process, really, isn't it?
It is, yeah, and obviously in the present climate we're in as well, with carbon footprints, people are a lot more aware of their carbon usage, fossil fuels.
Yeah, people are a lot more open to using reclaimed goods, aren't they now?
And they see actually that not only is it good for the environment, but also hopefully the end product is very pleasing to the eye and aesthetically very nice, really.
Yeah.
So, where we're going into here was originally the farm grain store.
Oh wow.
We've adapted it to be our main showroom and administration area.
It is very nice, just straight off the bat walking in. So you've got your Farrow and Ball paint over there?
Yeah, we do Farrow and Ball. Some of these beams actually did come from the site at Wytchbold. That particular beam on the bottom, I believe, is a Wytchbold beam there. So it shows you, you know, from where it was, where it is now.
Yeah, they do look amazing, don't they?
Yeah. Anything we buy, we try and make it sustainable.
Okay.
So we hope everything we get is from sustainable sources. So some of the, that for instance, that's quite interesting. They're actually from Indonesia.
Wow.
And they're root balls.
Okay.
And I'm told, basically, when the land was cleared for farming many years ago, that they buried the roots, and over a period of time the roots have come up,
right,
and they used to burn them.
Yeah.
And then somebody had the bright idea, hang on, you know, we've got this fantastic hardwood root, we can make them into tables or the basis of tables.
Wow.
This was an old cow shed originally. This was the curb, the cows basically were stall there, and then we've converted it into what I think is a very interesting showroom, really.
So even your showroom has been reclaimed?
Yeah, everything's recycled, everything's recycled. But again, we've got a mixture of new from sustainable sources, or we've got reclaimed. You know, these are quite interesting. The old cast iron windows,
oh, that's brilliant.
that we've processed and then put a mirror back in.
Mirrors, yeah.
Something that would inevitably probably have ended up going for scrap metal. We've hopefully turned it into something that's very pleasing to the eye and would look very nice in, you know, a traditional or a contemporary surrounding. I thought those in particular are really,
they will look nice.
Really nice.
Yeah. Where, do you know where they're from?
I actually bought them from a back garden, believe it or not.
All right.
From a guy that had collected stuff over a number of years. And eventually he's just downsizing his house, and he got a paddock full of materials, of which he got quite a large number of windows, which we've got around the back, but those were two particularly nice ones that I pulled out. Most of these are reclaimed. These are particularly nice. we managed to get 3 fireplaces all out of a property.
Wow.
And very, very luckily, very often what we call the front fret had 2 of them, the front frets were missing, but we've managed to find a company that we'd got 1, so we sent that to them and they've recast 2 new front frets for us.
Brilliant.
Which I think they really work really well actually. You wouldn't know they weren't the original. But they're nice because they're all there.
Which one is the original?
Hard to say. I don't know myself. I suspect it's that one because it's got a bit more age.
A bit more pitting in it.
Yeah. If somebody's looking for a situation where they've got 2 rooms and they want to match, it's quite nice to get a pair or 3 all the same.
Yeah, to have a set of them. Flooring as well?
Yeah, we do a lot of flooring. Again, all sustainable. We're quite careful that wherever we buy the timber from, that we're assured that the trees are being replaced. This tends to be European oak, and their management is very, very good.
Very good.
From a sustainability point of view, the way they do their forestry and have done it, always done their forestry, they've always, rather than clear felling large areas, they tend to do smaller areas and replant. So they've got more of so you've got lots of different trees through different growth stages. So a lot of this is French oak. But hopefully later on you will see the boarding that came out from Wytchbold, which is particularly nice because it's very wide. Our desire is to make sure that as much as possible comes from if in the ideal world everything is reclaimed.
Yeah, reused.
But we realise that the world isn't a perfect place, but where we do use new materials, that we do some research and make sure that they are coming from a proper source. Right, John, now this is a treat for you.
Yeah.
Because when Tony and I were walking around the site, there was a copper canopy there.
Okay.
And we had a bit of a joke about, we were both old enough to remember when no house was complete without your copper canopy over your fireplace. To just keep us in the 70s, I still have, just to prove, I've still got my copper canopy in place.
This one's especially for Tony.
It was, yeah. My parents had that made by a local blacksmith in 1974.
Brilliant, that is.
And they really thought they'd arrived when they got that here. So if you please tell Tony, I have got the copper canopy.
I'll make sure
show him the film. It's still there.
So I've been left in the capable hands of Dan. Hi, Dan.
Hi.
Nice to meet you, mate.
Nice to be here.
So you're going to take us down and show us the bricks that were taken from the White House.
Yep.
Yeah.
Take you down and see the bricks first, and then we'll go down and have a look at what else is coming.
Brilliant. Let's go for it.
Let's go. So these are the bricks that come from the White House in Droitwich.
So these are the ones.
Yeah, so we've got one full line, and then we've got the other size. So we've got 2 separate sizes, so we've got the smaller ones, the larger ones.
So these are all stocked, ready to go out?
Yeah, they're all ready to be sold. They've come from our demo team, so we don't really do a lot of checking on them, because obviously it's our lads that have done them.
So you know they've been, everything, all the muck's been cleaned off, they've been checked on site.
Yeah, the quality's there straight away.
So you haven't really got to do a lot of work to them at all?
No. It is just solely finding that person that comes in and wants that brick.
So what type of bricks actually are these?
So these are a handmade brick.
Okay.
So those bricks over there will be actually from the video.
These smaller ones here?
Of the building as they were taken down and dressing them.
So these are on the previous video when the guys were up in the telehandler taking them down. They're the actual ones.
They're the actual ones where as you see them dressing them on the floor and putting them onto pallets.
It literally is like as far as the eye can see.
Yeah, big old site. I mean,
you could get lost in here, couldn't you?
Yeah. So this down here is where all our lorries will end up. Our own vehicles. We do a lot of Arctics that come in and bring their own stuff in.
Right.
But they all report down here, obviously to our forklift drivers.
Yeah.
They should get a piece of paper saying where the bricks have come from, how many roughly we're going to be getting in, if they're not our jobs. And these lads will basically rack it and stack it, sort it, and whatever it needs doing to it. All our yard lads will come, peel a few layers out, have a look what's in the middle, check if it needs. Sometimes you get internal walls painted, so the bricks come in painted, and then obviously we've got our quill machine, so then it'll just be moved from here around to the quill and it'll be processed.
Sean is the yard manager and oversees everything that goes on here in the yard. He is going to be showing us through the processes of the bricks, the pavers, the edges and the goodie bricks, and basically show how they are restored.
The bricks came in on the lorry, our team unload them with the specialist forklifts that we have designed and everything for them. Then they come out into a process over here, if you like to come over here. This is basically where we put everything that comes into the yard. If it doesn't go here, it doesn't come into the yard basically, because this is our holding area for everything that comes in during the day. These garden edges, there's two different varieties on here from this job. They will all get separated, these will all get checked, make sure they're all the same. There is that many different varieties and sizes, it's impossible to keep them all. But obviously these, coming from the same place, should always be the same, which you can see. What we'll actually do now is they'll all get separated by the different teams that do different pieces of the yard. Then they'll actually go in, get washed, get cleaned, get stacked, put on a pallet and get put on sale. But they won't get put on sale until they've all been processed. Exactly the same with the bricks. These gullies, what we'll actually do is we'll bring them in, we'll have a look at them. Obviously you get good ones, that one's been a part one, that one won't get counted, it'll just get thrown away and into the rubble. Paving bricks here, these are actually house bricks that have been used as paving, which you can see the flat surface. We won't wash the surface because it just takes away the character of the brick. They'll just get cleaned off where the dirt is and away they go again. They won't get washed unless the customer asks for it, because they look old, which they actually are.
That's when what they want, isn't it? They want it to be...
Yeah, when they start washing, they start looking new.
Yeah, so you just clean off the edges, basically the bottom edge, if there's any concrete or anything like that on them, and just get the dirt off them and just leave the top face looking nice.
Yes, sometimes they come in, if they've had concrete laid over the top of them, then the concrete and the cement residue are on the top, then we'll take them away and have them cleaned in another process, which is in a different part of the yard.
So you've got a few different processes of cleaning stuff, haven't you? Just use jet washers and use a quill machine. We have a jet wash and we have a machine that's called a quill, which is a glass sand water mix that actually cleans the face. But I can show you that later on during the day. Okay.
Same with the pavers, again, they will just get cleaned off, edges not on the top, because it takes the character away from them.
Yeah, you want to keep the character. That's
You've got to
one of the points of using Reclaim, isn't it?
Yes, yeah. If you want clean, you may as well buy new.
Yeah. Right, so Sean, you're going to show us now how these are cleaned off?
Yeah, basically all we're going to do is use a steam pressure washer just to take the dirt off, not the face or anything else. Like I say, it just ruins the character. As you can actually see, all it's actually done is taken the dirt off it. It's not ruined the face of it or the character of it. That'll just look lovely back in the garden.
Yeah, they look brilliant, don't they?
Yes.
It's an easy way of cleaning them, but it just makes a lot of difference, doesn't it?
Yes, because today's day and age, people like the stuff cleaned. 20 years ago, it was as it was, people didn't bother.
Yeah.
Now, we live in a society where people want it cleaned and ready to go. They don't want to be doing the work on it. We have to do it now.
You can kind of understand that somebody doesn't want to come and buy something that's covered in dirt and whatever, because at least it looks better that way, doesn't it?
Yes.
It's just, you know,
yes, definitely. It's a product that's ready to go.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a finished item, ready to lay. It's easier for the tradesmen and everything else to use.
Right, should we go and see how the bricks are done?
Yeah, let's go. We traditionally use sandblasting, but it was too evasive on the bricks, and it takes the face off the bricks, which makes them more porous, and they just don't last as long as they should when they're reused. But this machine just takes the top off and the dirt. It's absolutely fantastic.
So what actually comes out of it?
It's water and sand and glass.
Oh wow, okay.
It's kiln dried sand with chips of glass in it, and mixed with water actually in the machine, and it just takes the top surface off, which makes them lovely and clean.
And can you change the pressure of it?
Yeah, you can change the pressure, you can just wash. If you look, these ones are ones that have already been done. They're the ones that are waiting to be done. What I'll actually do is I'll put the machine on and show you how they actually look when they're done.
It looks like the Ghostbusters lamps, doesn't it? Waiting for Slimer to come out.
Thank you. As you can actually see, The brick looks totally different now to the one previous.
Yeah, it's a massive difference. That took like seconds
Massive,
as well.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, we can do anywhere between 2 and 8,000 a day, depending on how many men we have on it.
Yeah.
But it just changes the life of the brick. It looks so clean and tidy once they've been cleaned. And again, it takes it away as they are ready to use. You haven't got to wash them when you get them back to site. You haven't got to pressure wash them. It's all done for you.
So I'm here with Ian now, who is a director of the company. You're going to show us through the tiles which were taken from the White House job.
These are the ones that from Droitwich, about 6-7 packs here. So when they come into the yard, they get counted, 1456, 1424. So we count each row so we know roughly what's in a crate. So, as you can see, Hawkins Cannock. If you look at the top, you can see the quality of them. There's very little to do, quality-wise. These
They're a solid tile, aren't they?
As good as the day they were made.
Yeah.
You know, they've lasted best part of 100 years now. They're probably good for another 500, 1,000 years. They'll be that good.
They'll be here long after us, won't they?
Yes.
Yeah.
So they're ready to go on. Sometimes we will wash them and clean them up. You can see obviously they've got a little bit of soot and discoloured over the years, and some people do like them a little bit cleaner. So I think you've seen with Sean on the pressure washer, steam clean.
Yep.
You can clean these off, and the colour comes up, and that is what we do sometimes.
I mean, the majority of the time they're fine. They're just taken off the roof. They're cleaned off on site, aren't they? And then just repalleted.
So, you know, if you're building a new house, you want old tiles, you wouldn't go far wrong with these at all.
No.
They're as good, if not better, than new tiles.
Without it being a very silly question, it says Cannock on them. They were made in Cannock, so they're pretty local tile as well then.
Very local.
Yeah.
They were just off the A5 there.
Yeah.
There was the Hawkins and there was Cannock within about a couple of miles of each other, churning out millions and millions of tiles going back. You know, this was probably 100 years ago.
Right.
It's unbelievable the quantities that were churned out. A lot of housing estates are covered in these all up and down the country.
Wow.
So before the advent of concrete took over, and in the 50s and 60s, and they waned a bit, but you put a new concrete tile on now, and this tile will still outlive that by hundreds and hundreds of years. So sometimes it's hard to understand why you take and put a new roof on of concrete tiles when you're putting something on that really is an inferior product.
When you can put something on like this that's going to last a lot longer.
But that's the world we live in.
Yeah, unfortunately.
So we have to make the best of that and salvage and reclaim as much as we can. And this is what we've been doing for well over 30 years now.
Long may it continue. You seem to be doing a very good job at it.
Yeah,
so.
we do try. At the end of the day, if we send that out and the builders, developers get on well with it, they'll use it time and time again. So if we send something out that's substandard or not as good as it should be, it's going to have problems. At the end of the day, it's we that lose out. So that's
you
why.
want the repeat custom, don't you?
All the time.
Yeah,
all the time.
Definitely.
I'm here with Carl from Midland Battery Servicing Limited. He is a guy that Cawarden get in to do the re-enameling of the baths. So you've got one here, mate, and you've started to get this prepped and ready. Can you just tell me what that stuff is that's in there now?
Yeah, at the minute it's more or less an etching gel, which is allowing me to burn into the surface glaze.
Because obviously it's a really tough, the enamel's really tough, isn't it? You want
It's
to get rid of
glass
that.
at the end of the day.
Yeah.
It's very hard to actually get at the surface, so you need to burn through that top layer to form a good bond at the end of the day. Shiny surface is no good to me.
No, it's a need key for it.
That's right, so that's what that's doing. It's been on for about 20 minutes, 30 minutes, just to try and let it work on its own and get the temperature up.
Yeah, because it's a cold day today, isn't it? So
it is, yeah, which is not ideal, but at the minute the temperature is, adequate, and we're up to the temperature I need to work in a process like this. Really.
So once the etching's completed, what do you do then?
Yeah, so we'll chemically clean, do a two-stage chemical clean on this now to remove this. Then there's an acid cleaner, another etching process which will go on to clean all of this off, and then a neutralising cleaner to remove the first cleaner.
Yeah.
And then it's more or less prepping the surface, look for repairs, any damage. As far as the taps are concerned, we're keeping the taps because keep as much of the original bath and as much as we can. Yes, you can buy reproduction stuff, but there's a nice, great looking taps, not in bad condition when you consider how old the bath is.
How old is the bath?
I'd say you're probably about 1930s.
Oh wow,
Just
so 90 years old, not bad, not looking bad for 90.
I do come older.
What's the oldest bath you worked on?
Probably about 1880.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
So we've seen all the process up to now. You've baked it with the heat lamps, and then you've put cold water in.
Cold water, cool the cast down. So now more or less at the final stage of just removing any dried imperfections which can sit on the surface. And its best way is just to run the machine polisher over that to eliminate that, to get the ultimate finish from day one instead of letting it be eventually wash away. But I prefer just to get it to the stage where, you know, the customer's 100% happy.
So it's perfect now.
That's right, yeah. That's why I want to just run the machine polisher over it just to finish it off, and then it'll be over to the painters to actually paint the outside in a foul and ball colour, and then it'll be ready for the showroom hopefully. So we'll see everything from day one to the finished product.
That's it, easy as that.
Easy as that.
Brilliant. Well, thanks very much for showing us what you do.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Thank you.
It's been a pleasure.
Cheers.
Cheers, thanks a lot. Cheers, guys.
So I'm here now with Russell and we're going to talk quarry tiles. So this is another thing which was reclaimed from Wytchbold, the White House, and Russell is now going to just talk us through the processes that are involved from reclaim to showroom condition. All right, mate, so what is the process?
Right, obviously we batch them up. If they've come from, we will try and make sure that they've come from one room only, unless they're really similar. So we'll make sure that the size is depth correct. Then we'll go through the process of making sure that they're ready to sell again. Just as an instance, if you've got quarry tiles that are coming up in that kind of condition, that will be something that we will take out as soon as we start going through them.
Because of the break.
Obviously the breakages, and you've also got quite a lot of mortar on. If they're a good quarry tile and they're ready to go back down again, all of this cement, etc., will be extracted off that quarry before they go back on sale. As you can see with the ones that we've got here.
Yeah, so this is like obviously just been reclaimed. Yeah, there's still a bit of stuff on there, so that'll just get ground off.
Definitely.
And then how do you clean the surface?
If the surface is like the situation where you've got in your hands there, we'll use our quill machine. Which,
yeah, that's the one that you use on the bricks, yeah?
It's a light glass and also water mix, which will hopefully not have too much of a detrimental effect on the face.
Yeah.
Which you can see on the quarries that we've got in front of us. You've still got a little bit of a residue of the glass on the face, which will literally just wash off.
That'll see them wash off, won't it? Yeah, it's just, and then obviously they end up like this then, which is a massive difference, isn't it?
We want to make sure that when the customer has the quarries, they're ready to go straight back down. There's no extra additional work for the customer.
That's the last thing you want to do, is be sat there chipping stuff off before you can install it, isn't it? Or,
yeah, they're raring to go, aren't they? They want to get them straight down and just get the job done.
Yeah.
You know, they don't want to be having to clean it, etc.
No, exactly. Well, these will definitely make a brilliant addition to somebody's home, won't they?
Hopefully, yeah.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Amazing. So then, Russell, next up are the doors. So this is an example of the doors that were taken out of the White House.
Yep.
So we've got obviously a before, so this is how they were taken out, and
Correct,
this is what they will end up like, ready for showroom condition. So can you just talk us through?
Yeah, so basically what has to happen is, as you can see on this door, it's still got all of its furniture on, beehive handle and obviously the escutcheon. The finger plate has also got to be removed, and also any of the door furniture on the side, hinges, locks, etc. Then obviously we'll take it to a door strippers. That is a process where they dip them in caustic, and that will remove all of the residue of the paint, etc. And then you will also find out if any of these panels have been filled.
Right.
Because sometimes you'll find that they look great with the paint on, as soon as you dip them, literally the panels will fall apart.
Because there's loads of fill.
As you can see with that one, it's turned out quite well.
Yeah.
A little bit of work at the top, but the rest of it looks pretty good. It's quite sound. It hasn't had any detriment to any of the joints. All the joints look really good. And that's one of the things you can find with caustic, is it will affect some of the joints. In this situation, they've been absolutely fine. So what you do then is obviously just give it a light sand and finish it with an oil or another paint, and you're ready to go.
Ready to go. Easy as that.
Yeah,
it's one of the quickest processes.
Yeah, it's one of the less labour intensive.
Yeah.
A little bit of a sand, etc., but it's not too bad compared to other things that we do here. It is a lot less labour intensive.
Really impressed with it. You know, it's just nice old timber. It's going to look absolutely lovely, whether it's painted or whether it's oiled, waxed. I mean, to be fair, I think it'd be an absolute crime if you painted something like this, because you just don't get wood like this anymore. Nice tight grain, old growth, and even these little panel bits, look. I mean, just look. Whoever stripped this, got it all prepped, done an absolutely sterling job. So to go from this to this, brilliant, spot on.
So we're here with Paul now in the workshop, and we've got a few items which were reclaimed from the White House in Wytchbold. We've got a nice table over there, we've got our hidden panel doors, and we've got our pine floorboards. So what Paul's going to do now is just talk us through the different processes which are involved in getting these reclaimed and back up to their former glory, ready to be sold. So what would the first process be on, say, this panel door then, Paul?
Right, well, these have come back from the strippers.
Yeah.
And they're pretty good nick, to be fair. So what we do is give them a light sanding in places to take some of the roughness and the bit of the old paint that still stayed on. Mm-hmm. And then we give them probably just a wax up, to be fair.
So they'll just be waxed up as they are now, and
come
then
back in good condition. Yeah. Take out any repair work if need to be.
Yeah.
But if you can do too much sometimes to them.
Yeah, I mean, people want an old looking thing,
exactly,
don't they? Otherwise they buy new. So,
that's right,
yeah,
that's right.
You want a bit of age to it.
That's it.
Okay.
So yeah, reasonably pleased with these ones.
And then how about the table? Because there was some umming and ahhing as to whether they could actually reclaim this, wasn't there?
There was, yeah. I mean, looks in a poor state at the moment, but we'll work some magic on that. Once again, give it a sand up, not do too much. You can see it's quite furry there. By the time we've sanded it back, once again, lick of wax, look different again.
Good as new.
Yeah.
And then obviously there's some different process involved with the floorboards.
That's right, yes. These are the original ones came up, and then what we do, we've got our own brush machine, and we put them through the brush machine sometimes 2 or 3 times. It takes all that off, depending on what the finish is like. Sometimes we might just give them a little bit of a sand over as well.
And that's it.
But yeah, some people, it depends what sort of finish they want, whether they want it to look similar to that, or fetch it back to that.
Back to a newish looking board. Yeah.
A lot of people say, oh, we'll sand it themselves. till you tell them what's involved, and then we say we can do that. It's a no-brainer.
Yeah, do it on site, a lot easier. Well, in the workshop, a lot easier than doing it on site, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's ready to be stained then. Yeah.
Right, ready for the waxing, and just literally work it in all the grooves.
Is there any particular brand of wax you use, or is that a trade secret?
I don't tell anyone we use Mylands, that's one of the best on the market. Give this a coat, give it a rub off, let it dry, and then give it another one in an hour or two's time.
Yeah.
It's good to go then, yeah.
Straight in the showroom?
Straight in the showroom, see what happens. Don't hang around long, things like this.
So that'll be left now for...
We'll leave this for about an hour.
Yeah.
And then really could do with another coat. Just leave it all to settle in. You can see how it's drying in and soaking. Let that dry off and then give it a buffing.
Yeah.
In an hour or two's time.
And then it's ready for the showroom.
Then it's ready for the showroom. This is a piece of the flooring that's already been brushed. It's actually got a good finish on there already, but we'll just give it a quick wipe over with the palm sander. And that's all that needs. Give it the hand test. There are no splinters. That one's passed.
You're going to use a bit of Osmo oil. We like a bit of Osmo oil.
That can't be Osmo oil. It's very good for everything, Osmo oil is.
So they've been brushed.
It's brushed. I'll give it a
sand over.
Sand over, like sanding over. We don't pre-finish floors. This will just give you an idea what they're going to look like.
It's basically a how-to.
Yeah, that's right, yeah. And this is one we recommend. So easy to use. It's a lovely finish. Look at that.
Well, helps keep the room bright, doesn't it, if it's lighter?
Yeah, that's right, yeah. And Osmo, you can wipe it over any spillages.
The thing with oil is, I've always found it's like 2 or maybe 3 coats and it's job done, isn't it?
Yeah, it's water-based defeats the object.
Yeah.
It raises the grain
straight
away.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't like any water-based.
But unfortunately, I think that's the way things are going with it.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Which is right enough.
Yeah, I suppose so.
So again, let that one dry now.
And this will take a little bit longer than the wax.
Yeah, we normally say about 12 hours on that. But so we don't pre-finish floors, but sometimes people ask us for advice to take a sample of flooring away. I've not got a problem in putting a bit of treatment on there, just gives me a bit of an idea.
That's it, isn't it?
Some people need a bit of a push in the right direction,
That's
or a
it,
bit
isn't it?
nervous of being committed.
That's it.
It's often best to have it installed in the house as well, isn't it, before you fully commit to a colour. Depends on what decor you got and what light, natural light you got coming into the room. So there you go, guys. This is the whole stage from Reclaim right the way through to showroom condition. So next up is this table. So you saw in the episode with Richard and Tony that they were having a look and they were undecided as to whether or not this could actually be reclaimed. But on the second inspection, it's been decided that it will be reclaimed and it's going to be returned to its former glory. And Paul is now going to show us the steps which will be taken to do so. So Paul, what's the process, mate?
Well, first of all, it's very rare we're defeated on anything. We'll give anything a go, a challenge. But I reckon just a good sanding off, really, bit of TLC on the top, then the legs and frame, bit of a light sanding. Once again, don't want to do too much.
I mean, I'm not too sure how old it is. I'd imagine it's quite original to the house because it looks like it's just a bit of a DIYer's job. It's been banged together. It's just a few old floorboards that people have had left together. But I mean, obviously, it's a really simple thing, but I think in the right setting it'd be absolutely beautiful.
That's
I mean, we did say earlier, once it's all waxed and sanded up, it's going to make an absolutely stunning sideboard, maybe in a galley kitchen. It's just, like I say, if in the right sort of environment, even something like this, even though it looks like a bit of a pig at the moment, it's good. It's going to end up looking absolutely beautiful.
Yeah, got plenty of character going for it.
Well, that's it, isn't it? And like you say, you never want to take things too far, because I mean, even these little rings, scuffs, and you know, I could even see a couple of old nails that have probably just been randomly hammered in, because it's obviously an old workbench.
Yeah, workbench, isn't it?
That's it.
Tins of paint and whatever have been left
on it. That's it. You know, a couple of oil stains, but once again, it just adds to the actual character of the build, doesn't it? So
yeah. Some people can paint the bases.
Yeah, that's quite a popular thing. Once again, it's the contrast, isn't it?
Yeah, or renew the top, but to me,
I think that'd be a bit of a crime, wouldn't it? It'd be a shame to sort of go to all the trouble of having all this age and then just covering it up with a bit of new timber, wouldn't it?
Yeah, definitely, definitely. It'd be nice that when it's done.
See where the dog's been having a bit of a chew on it.
That's
look,
right.
So, yeah, once again, it's all part of the character, isn't it?
B might have been the dog's name.
Is it pretty sound structurally? Is it?
It's not too bad. Yeah, it's not too bad at all.
I mean, do you think you might have to put
Might have to put some extra fixings in with it being a table.
Thing is, I think you've always got to be a bit careful with stuff like this. You always want to secure it where it can't be seen, and just do it as sympathetically as you can, can't you?
Yeah.
No, so hopefully we'll just keep our fingers crossed, give it a bit of a sand up and a bit of wax, and hopefully you'll make something beautiful out of it.
Definitely, yeah. Someone will cherish this, definitely.
So Paul, we've left you for a little while to work your magic on the table, and now she's ready to receive a bit of wax.
Yeah, a little bit of magic. What do you think so far?
It's looking good, isn't it? Very nice.
Yes, too.
Definitely restoring it back to its former glory.
Yeah, just did a bit more sanding and scraping, and there's enough there for the wax really to key into it. Might just still have a little dark patch when the table's waxed, but
it's not a big deal, is it? Like I say, it adds to the charm of it, doesn't it?
That's right, yeah. I'm going to do now. We're on the strip pine wax, Mylands again. Just give it a bit of colour to it. That would have been a bit too pale. It lends it a bit of warmth to it.
Yeah, I think also as well, because this is like I say, this is quite scuffed and it's got quite a bit of. Don't really want to call it damage, do you? But I think a slightly darker colour is going to sort of like complement that a little bit better. That's it. So just because obviously you've got dark patches, rings, and all the rest of it. With a darker wax, it won't be so in your face, will it? You know what I mean? I think that's what you're looking for, isn't it? So,
yeah, that's it.
So anyway, we're going to let you put on the first coat, and hopefully we'll see a bit of change. Any chance of a go?
Of course he is, yeah.
You got a pair of gloves, and me and John could do a plank between us. That's it.
Free inspection.
That's it. Get gloved up. See if I can do Paul proud.
Don't go and ruin it.
That's it. Don't worry.
Thinking, what have I done?
That's it. Don't worry, Paul. If it goes wrong, it's only half a day sanding you're going to have to do.
Sand it all back again, yeah. Why not?
Definitely is the right colour there. It looks amazing.
Yeah.
I like the way I like how it picks out all the marks. Makes it.
Yeah, but it's funny you didn't see that before, did you?
No, but has that like been a reaction, has it, or is it just like a patch?
Something in the wood.
So all that's left now is for Paul to add the finishing touches to this table, and then it'll be in the showroom and off to some lucky person's house as pride of place in one of their rooms. So thank you very much for showing us all your techniques and all these different bits.
No problem
at all. Thank
you.
Thank you. Pleasure, mate.
Nice to see you.
So guys, that's it. That is the end of our trilogy. Firstly, I'd say a massive thanks to Cawarden for taking us on this journey from destruction to construction. It just goes to show that we can all do our bit to reducing the carbon footprint, and reclaiming these goods has then meant that everything is really sustainable because it can be used again and again and again, and it will last for years to come too. Hopefully you've enjoyed this video. If you have, give us a big thumbs up and also consider subscribing to the channel. You've been watching me and all the guys from Cawarden. Take care and I'll see you next time.